Okay, hola chicos. We're going to talk about the rest of the irregular verbos del preterito. Okay, so we're first going to start here with this page right here. So we talked about ir y ser. We talked about ver y dar. Okay, and today we're going to talk about los verbos de u, los verbos de la jota, the J verbs, and also los verbos de I, which are the I verbs. And so the things that these have in common is that they're going to have a U in the way that they change spelling. These are going to have a J in the way that they change spelling. And these are going to have an I in the way that they change spelling. And so you'll see here too, all of these verbos here are actually going to share the same endings. So, and with these, just like we saw with fui, ser, with ir, ser, ver, y dar, they all have no acentos. And so same things with these all are going to have no acentos. So let's go through how we conjugate each one. We're going to start with los verbos de u. Okay. We have estar, which we know means to be. Remember, not like ser is to be as in to be feeling. And the stem, how I conjugate it, again, I drop the AR, and then I have the stem, which is like that, okay? And then after that, I'm going to add my endings, which we're going to learn later on. Andar, which means, it can mean to walk. It also means like to get to, becomes anduv. And then, of course, I'm going to add my ending. Tener, which we know means to have, becomes tuv. So notice how all these have U's in them. Saber, which we know means to know. When I use this in the preterite, it means to find out. And that stem is soup. Poner, to put or place, turns into pus. Poder, and the preterite, poder also means to manage to, or even to try to. And the stem of that is pud. Okay, so those are the stems. Okay, moving on to los verbos de la jota, J verbs. Okay, we have decir, which decir means to say, and that stem turns into dij. Conducir, to drive. Turns into that. Conduj. Producir, to produce. Turns into that. You're kind of starting to see a pattern here with those verbs that end in CIR. Traducir, to translate. Turns into like that. Traer, to bring. Turns into just like that. Okay. So you notice how all those verbos have the jota. Okay. So again, if I want to say, for example, I said, we'll find out in a second here what the yo ending is, but it'd be yo dije. Okay. Or I drove, yo conduje, you produced, produjiste. Okay. So we'll talk about that in just a second here. Then we have los verbos de I, we have venir, querer, and hacer. So only tres. Venir, which means to come to, okay, like come to school. And that stem is like that. Querer, to want. And querer in the preterite is peace. Hacer, to do or to make. And that stem is HIC. Now, I will say there's one exception with hacer, and that is the el, ella form. And usted. That form is actually going to change to a Z. And it's that hizo, which we're going to see that in a second here. Hizo. There we talked about hard vowels and soft vowels and when they're next to C's. Like, for example, with a kargar zar verb, with the zar verbs, remember that those change to C's because they want to make sure it keeps the hard or soft sound. So this one changes to a Z. Okay, so let's look at the endings here. How do I conjugate these verbos? Remember that there are no acentos, which is kind of nice. Okay. And so we have here the yo form, the yo ending is A. The two ending here, iste, O, imos, istes, and ieron. Now, there is an exception here with this. For the verbos de jota, for those J verbs, it actually, the ending is eron. There's no I. They drop the I. And same thing here, another exception is hacer. Remember the el, ella, usted is hizo with a Z. Por ejemplo, okay, so if I have the verbo, and let's practice with the verb decir, okay, which we know that the stem here is dij, okay. Again, the yo form, yo dije, tú dijiste, él y usted dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, dijeron, okay, with that, because it's a jota verbo. If I have here, for example, with a verb like, let's do saber, which is soup, okay. Again, if I'm saying yo supe, supiste, supo, supimos, supiste, supieron. That is how I would conjugate those verbos, okay. So those are the uji verbs. Those are some of the more irregular verbos. If you look here on the front, there's actually a little canción we have. And that is to the tune of La Cucaracha, if you ever heard that song. So it goes like this. Tener estuve, estar estuve, fui también ser, poner puse, poder pude, trajes para traer, hacer hice, haber hube, saber supe, querer quise, decir dije, venir vine, ver y dar y no acentos. So that's kind of a way to remember it, and we're going to practice this a lot in clase. Okay. All right, gracias chicos. Adiós.